Pete Carroll's coaching strategy emphasizes a positive and competitive environment, individual growth, and team chemistry. He's known for his high energy, belief in his players, and ability to connect with them and embrace unconventional strategies like aggressive play calling. Get a brief view of Pete describing his perspective on coaching. Stay tuned.
I believe my job as the head coach is to help our team be the very best they can be. And notice I didn't mention be a championship team or whatever. I don't care about that. I want them to be the best they can possibly be. Whatever that brings us to, we'll take it. To get that done, we formulated an idea of how to get our performance to our very best. And I believe that there's a little formula here to it. It starts with developing the confidence. Let's think of it in terms of an individual, and then we'll also think of it in terms of a team. I want to develop a player to be as confident as he can possibly be in his ability. So he knows and what he's capable of doing. And I believe I have to prove it to him through the practice sessions and through whatever comes along. Prove it to him why he deserves to be confident in his own ability. This is really important so that the player himself can trust that he's okay. I can do this. And he has that trust in himself that he's capable of doing what we're asking him to do. Well, to take it to the next step is to have a player also understand why he can trust the people around him. I need to prove it to him. I need to show him why we're prepared well enough, we can perform well enough, so that he can not only trust himself, but trust those around him. The reason that's so important is to get this individual player to play his best, he needs to have that sense that he believes in himself, he believes in what's going on around him, so that he's not worried about not being worthy, so that he can focus. Because we're getting down to trying to allow a kid to perform at his very best. To do that, performers perform at their best when they can focus impeccably. And you can't do that if you're worried about not being ready, not being able. And so to give you the building blocks, if you made a triangle, you put confidence in one corner. That's where it starts. And then we've got to develop the trust in ourselves and those around us so that we can focus, which is really at the top of the triangle in my mind. This is a model for an individual player, but yet think of it in terms of your team. It's the same thing. We want to develop our team so they have the confidence that they're capable of doing what we're asking them to do, so that they trust themselves, so that they trust those around them, so that when it comes to game time, they're not worried about being able to be at their best. It might not be good enough to win the game. That's not our goal. Our goal is to play at our very best. And if we can win the game doing that, that's what's going to happen. And to do that, we need to help our players in our team focus at their very best. So confidence, trust, gets us to where we can focus.
Realize it or not.
Yeah.
To your point about coaches, because I think you're known, Pete Carroll competing. Anybody in sport would say that. They'd also, second sentence, probably be like, he's going to coach you on having to have a philosophy. When coaches are wondering, like, how do I do that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you help them have depth? Because when I've asked this in production meetings, I get all great words, right? I just get a variance of words, and I sit back, didn't really own that answer. Like, I don't feel it in the depths.
Ask me again a couple days later, see what they say.
Yeah. So I'm curious for you, like, how do you coach somebody up on like how to get there?
It's a process. It's a process of self-discovery that you're going through it. It's happening. You might want to gain control of what's going on, and be aware of it, because like we say, you've already made all the choices that guide your life. How you get up in the morning, what you do, how you act, what you wear, the music you listen to, the books you read, whatever. Those are all choices that you're making, but they become something magnanimous in your life when you realize, yes, these are the choices that I've been making, and this tells me a story of who I am and what I'm all about. So that there's a process in there that there's no easy way to do it. You either do it or you don't, and you have to work at it. You have to take yourself through it, and it's painstaking. to hang with it till you get to the words that really represent what your thoughts and your feelings are. To just write something down that you heard, that don't mean nothing. That's a start. But then look at the words. Do the words really stand for what you believe in? Always compete, man. I can't get any more simple. That's as simple as it gets. And respect means regard. And those decisions that you've made about the thoughts and the feelings that you have. And my favorite one is talking about uncompromising principles. What are the principles that that's you. You're not bending. You're going to fight your ass off to prove that this is what you feel. That until you realize what those are, and there might not be very many of them in your life, you might not even know, and it might take you a long time to get there, but that doesn't mean that it's not worth going for. It's not worth pursuing, because to get there and to understand the depth allows you to act in accordance with the person you know yourself to be. And that's it's crucial. And if you take pride in being you, then you've got to be authentic. And to be authentic, you got to be consistent. And so to be consistent, you got to know what the heck you're repeating. The teams can go win a championship and do something, and if they don't really know how they got there, they ain't going to do it again. They'll may luck into it some years later. It's being able to come back and utilize the principles that you believed in that took you to the place that you achieved, that allows you to come back. And make them win once. The number of beliefs that you have, the list and the length and the magnitude of the beliefs that you have on the littlest things that you feel are important, are what makes your philosophy. And those are, I would guess, your core values, as you put it. And in doing this, I think the only way, other than being lucky or just being absolutely gifted to being successful, is you have to figure out what those are. That is absolutely your number one challenge, is to figure out what it is that makes up your core values, because until you do, you don't know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you don't know how to be you. And it's hard for young people, because how could you possibly? But that is your challenge, and that is what you have to get done. And it is what came out of it. It took me all these years till I got here to have it where I felt very comfortable.
Grew up in the Bay Area, and grew up with the Raiders and the Niners in town. And the Raiders' way was just so unique, so much more so in the day, because of Coach Davis, Al Davis, and Mark's pops, man. And he had a way about him, and he had a style that built this whole mentality that really still fuels the Raider Nation. It's a thrill to be part of it. I studied under them, I watched them, cheered for him, and all of that. But way back, I recognized that Al Davis had something going that was way different than everybody else. He had a whole vision for how this thing should come together.